So, like we said yesterday, it's beta week. Modern Warfare is definitely taking over here this week, next week, and maybe a little longer after that. But that said, the beta is the big thing up on deck here for PlayStation 4 users this week, Xbox One and PC users next week. But with all that right now going on, there's honestly so much to try and take in, and that's a lot of information to process, a lot of information to go out and find. So I figured, let's put it all into one singular location for you guys to let you know everything you need to know before going into the Modern Warfare beta. So hopefully this answers every single question that you can have, and hopefully this gets you ready entirely for what's to come over the next 2 weekends. So let's jump into it. First things first, how do you get into the beta? Well, there's two different ways. If you want some early access, you'll need pre-orders, but other than that, it's an open beta for each platform for each of the respective weekends. So early access is stated to start as of September 12th, that being this Thursday, though there may be a chance that it does drop early as in tomorrow, because we've seen betas normally drop 1 day in advance, though with it being September 11th here in the States, the optics of that may look bad. So because of that, I don't think I'd put my money on it, but of course, just by basic patterns, we have seen that happen quite a bit of time. So just keep it open just in case, but count on it being on Thursday when it's actually stated. How you get in on that early access is through a pre-order. This pre-order from physical retailers or online orders should be of something that have come with a redemption code, either immediately somewhere on your receipt that got printed out from the physical retailer, or an email that you got from the seller such as Amazon with that redemption code available. Now this redemption code you'll want to input at callofduty.com/redeem, and here you'll be able to sign into your Call of Duty account or platform of choice directly, to which once you do, you can input your code, and if valid, you'll be able to choose from your platform of choice on the Call of Duty accounts, or just be credited to your account at that point if you're on the specific platform. Once you've done that, you should now have gotten an email or notification with the actual download code that'll be able to be inputted into your console's respective store in the redeem category, but this time the code will be for that store of choice, the PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, or Blizzard.net, not necessarily just redeeming the code to allow you to be credited towards it. Digital pre-orders are not required to have a beta code, so from there you can just jump into the store and download the beta application, skipping a bit of the hassle. But from here you'll be able to pull and download the application for the Modern Warfare beta. Now be conscious, as this is around 40 gigabytes of data, as we saw from yesterday's little, not necessarily blunder, but mistake in which it was able to be downloaded a little bit earlier than intended as of today. But 40 gigs is a hefty bit of data, so make sure you start that if you have a slower internet connection so you can take advantage of the beta as soon as it drops for whenever it may. Now, a little side note for those of you who haven't already and may have been wondering if this would be tied to the alpha application, it won't be, so you can clear that off your hard drive and get rid of the space that took up, because it'll never be supported again or used again. So unless you want that memory of the application just taking up space, there isn't really any need to keep it on your hard drive. Next up, start times. Again, as we mentioned, it is quite possible that this goes live early, but for the simple stated times and marketing time frames, we have a window for each specific weekend in each console. For PlayStation 4, the early access is stated to start on the 12th, that being this Thursday, with a start time officially announced as 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time, and elsewhere around the world depending on your time zone. Now, the open beta will begin for PlayStation 4 users on the 14th, that being this Saturday, in which you don't have to have a beta code. You don't have to have a pre-order, so don't worry at all. You don't need one. At that point, you can then just jump in and download the beta application and take part in the festivities for yourself. That pre-order and early access only applies to those that have the pre-order and want to take part in an extra 2 days of the beta, but unlike the alpha, I would imagine you need PlayStation Plus, but I actually don't know if that's been officially announced to be confirmed or denied, but just to err on the side of caution, I'd imagine that you do need it. Now, those dates for the players who pre-ordered for early access, as well as those who are joining in on the open beta side of things, will have until the 16th to be able to play, that being a Monday. That'll probably close around a standardized time of 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as well, but is also equally likely to be extended by a few hours, as we saw with, say, the open alpha for 2v2. But that's one side of the spectrum. What about Xbox One and PC players? Take those same timetables and, likely to a T, push it back by 7 days and you'll have your time frames for Xbox One as well as PC. So that means your preload dates should be coming on the 17th, and then of course jumping into the beta as of the 19th and the 20th for early access on Xbox One and PC, those players that had pre-orders. Plus at that point then it's an open beta as well for PlayStation 4, so everyone on PlayStation 4 regardless of pre-order can play at that point as well. And then September 21st to the 23rd is an open beta for Xbox Xbox One, PC, and PlayStation 4. Everyone on every platform can play at that point. Now again, that same second week is subject to whatever happens here in the first week. If it goes live tomorrow, a day early, I would expect it to go live a day early as of next week as well for Xbox One and PC users, and again, open beta for PlayStation 4. A little bit of talk console-wise, one big thing obviously that's going to be advertised here throughout at least weekend 2 is that of Crossplay, where you can play on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or PC and party up with literally anybody from any of those. If you have a friend that has a Blizzard.net account, you can play with them if you're on Xbox One or PS4. If you have a friend on Xbox One and you're on PS4, you can play together. That's one of the big things here that's advertised here out of this, and the way that you'll be able to access this come that time is through the new way that friends lists are handled within Modern Warfare. Naturally, you can't join up on a friend from across the console pond on Xbox if you're on PlayStation 4, because PlayStation 4 only showcases its friends list there on the console. But with Modern Warfare, you'll be able to see the Activision friends list folder, in which you can go in there, and if you have your accounts linked up, this will probably be explained in full and entirely announced come next week, so keep an eye out for that one. But you'll be able to link up your Call of Duty accounts together, and from there, that will then bridge the gap between the console divide, and then you'll be able to play with your friends. That's a huge one that, again, will probably be elaborated upon more come next week with the scheduled crossplay details coming, but bear that in mind as well. Another big thing for PC in particular is that today, actually, Nvidia released a new game driver update for Modern Warfare. So make sure you download that so you have it ready. It's something that you can jump in with the most optimal settings, and of course, optimizing your hardware and your specific build to the best of its ability. But enough of the entry barrier talk. Let's talk about the actual content. What you'll be seeing now that we have the timing parameters and how to get in under a belt. What can we actually expect to be able to play? What can we experience within the Modern Warfare beta? Now, a couple of these things are known, a couple of these things are rumored, so let's start out with a general broad perspective and talk about the overarching topics first, that being firstly game modes. We know of 2v2, 6v6, and 10v10 coming. That's something that's been out there for a while. It's also rumored that 32 versus 32 will be happening. We know that we'll get our first public experience with the gunsmith, various operators, which are only just cosmetic. There's nothing like Specialist in Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 3 or Infinite Warfare that offers any statistical or gameplay changing features to them. They're simply cosmetic, and we'll also get a look at the ranking system, though probably just a small sliver of this and not something that is a true indication of what we'll see come launch, and we'll explain that in just a second. So let's talk about the game modes here firstly. Like we said, we do know that we'll have 2v2, 6v6, and 10v10 here. It's also rumored that for the first 3 days of the beta, simply for matchmaking, stress tests, and trying to get everything going, that you won't be able to decide what mode you'll be playing first. It will just be a quick play option, and then after those first 3 days, you'll be able to jump in and select whatever playlist you want. Personally, I hope this isn't true simply because of the 2v2 game mode. The rest I'm totally cool with. I am all for experiencing everything a part of the beta, but for 2v2, I think that can be a real big damper, especially if you're going in with a larger party of, say, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. 2v2 is obviously going to break that up, and so therefore, if you go in with a larger party, will it just take 2v2 out of that playlist rotation? If that's the case, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but that's something to be conscious of as well. Now, also rumored here out of this, to expand a little bit further on this, apparently the modes will include 20-player or 10v10 domination, 10v10 TDM, standard 6v6 TDM, standard 6v6 domination, headquarters, which we saw a little bit in the reveal gameplay, a night vision playlist, which will of course just have those maps that we talked about that will be nighttime, so you can utilize that new feature. The maps we saw were Cave as well as Hackney Yard with night variations earlier on, so likely those two as well. Gunfight, 32v32 ground war, and tactical realism game mode, plus cyber attacks in there as well. So we have a hefty amount of game modes that should be up on deck, but as for what will all be there at one specific time, I can't imagine all of that. For betas, there's oftentimes rotation of playlists so players can get a full experience of everything on offer, not just having to break up player counts and just see TDM or something like that being the vast majority, as many players will normally gravitate towards in the full game, but something that we may see here at that, but those should be coming over the duration of the 2 weekends. As we discussed as of yesterday, we should have around 7 to 9 maps, 4 of those being 2v2 maps. Which one of those 5 that we saw in the alpha is up to random chance. We have absolutely no idea. The other map should include Hackney Yard, Cave, and Runner for 6v6, standard game modes of, say, TDM, Domination, Realism, and so on. And then we'll see Raid for the 10v10 maps, as well as Quarry for the 32v32 map. As we mentioned yesterday as well, Ania Palace and 20v20 apparently isn't in the beta, so that's something to consider as well. Feature-wise, the one thing that I am super excited for players to get their hands on, having played around a little bit with this at past gameplay events, is that of the Gunsmith, the brand new way to bring your weapon to life, per se, within Modern Warfare. There's so much customization you can have. You can change weapons into other variations, like the AK-47 to the 74U. You can end up changing it to whatever gameplay style you want to have during your matches. There's so much that you could do, upwards of 60 plus attachments per weapon. There's a lot that you can end up playing around here at this one, and I think that for a beta, this is going to be absolutely fantastic to see how this works, and of course, it's going to be a lot more of an indication for how it will work at launch, because at previous capture events, they've all just naturally been unlocked by default, so you had access to all 60 attachments or whatever it may be, whereas in this time, you'll have to rank up and unlock each attachment with your weapon rank, and of course, some apparently have a challenge that make it a secondary unlock as well, so we'll of course see how this works with the beta and as a more accurate representation of the full build of the game, and for that, I'm super excited. I'm excited to see what the community can create. I'm excited to see just how much in-depth adjustments to the weapons it can make as well, now having the ability as of this weekend and the following weekend to go way more in depth than the few minutes I got to spend with it in between matches of previous press events, but that'll be something you can play around with, and naturally, as a result, we'll also get to see a lot of weapons too. Now, apparently the leveling only goes up to level 30, but that's something that you'll also see a ton of weapons, and probably even more than what we've seen so far. We had a very limited amount for the reveal build. We had a very limited amount of weapons that we had back in May at a behind closed doors press event where we got to play MP, which, truth be told, that happened so long ago we weren't allowed to record, so I've lost track of what weapons were even on there. I know there was the P90, I know there was the Scar, and so this should give a more accurate representation again of some of the things being presented in this beta, and then ultimately then the full launch of the game. Operators are going to be something very cool to play around with as well, to see if there's any character unlocks that you can end up working around with that. You can end up seeing just who you want to learn more about the backstory of, probably. So there's a lot that goes into this, and again, obviously the ranking system. The first time that we'll end up seeing any sort of rank up mechanics within MP, we'll see just how long it takes to get from level 1, 2, 3, and so far up to 30 probably, whereas previously, again, everything's been private matches or local, so everything's unlocked. It'll just give a much more accurate representation of the game at large. Things I wouldn't expect to be coming here at this are things like camos. We don't normally see camo challenges unlocked for the beta. Come the full launch, naturally it'll be there, but the betas, the alphas, and stuff like that pre-release usually are just to showcase the base mechanics of the game, the base portions like the weaponry, some of the ranking system in terms of what we'll see with the beta, some of the new maps, that kind of stuff. So I'm not expecting much more of the customization-esque stuff to make its way over into the beta. Other things, I wouldn't expect full information on the leveling and prestige system. Like we said, we'll come back to this. Here's the discussion now. It seems like there might be some hints towards there not being a traditional prestige system within Modern Warfare, which begs the question how the leveling will work at that point. So we'll have to wait and see with that, but I wouldn't expect to come even close here to knowing what will fully happen at launch. Nobody's going to get close enough to an air quote prestige, or whatever the equivalent would be here in the beta. I wouldn't expect things like challenges for, again, camos or other customization pieces. You will have some challenges, though, to unlock attachments, it seems like. So outside of that, though, not much more. I also wouldn't expect many more maps than what we already listed and detailed here out of what has already been showcased. That kind of stuff's going to be saved for the full launch of the game. So that's pretty much everything here that you need to know about the Modern Warfare beta, how to get into it, when you can play it, and of course, what's going to be up on deck with it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is there anything in particular that you guys think that I missed out on? If so, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll try and answer anything that I can. And also, feel free to help out if you know an answer to a question that's been posted. Feel free to engage with that one. But I want to kind of just round up everything here for you guys and give you everything that at least I can think of that you'll need to know before going into the beta. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare. I am super excited here to jump into making some beta content here for you guys. So if you're interested in any of that, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. But I'm setting out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Minus Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.